We're in search of the four-bean pod. It's a symbol of a healthy, thriving crop of soybeans, the plant that is considered one of the most versatile natural products on Earth. We've introduced you to the growers who plant the seed and nurture it all the way to market. We've shown you the land and its ties to the past and to the generations of the future. With everything from crop rotation to conservation tillage, today's farmers are preserving the valuable topsoil and not only maintaining, but often improving the land. And they credit modern technology with allowing farming to keep up with the demand, because in the midst of all the traditional farmland history and stillness sits modern, innovative technology with all of its scientific magic. The use of technology starts before the farmer ever gets the seed, with teams of people working to help identify the right varietals for a particular farming environment. Long before any seed is dropped into the ground, the life of this bean is being planned and protected.
When I look for seed, what I want is good quality seed. I want seed that's going to be clean, good. I want good germination seed. And like I say, that's kind of the most important thing, because when we put it in the ground, I want to do it one time.
One pass of the tractors over the ground, that's key. Because in today's farming, it's all about fewer turns across the land. Modern agriculture is a precise business. These peaceful, idyllic settings may look remote, but that doesn't mean the farmers are backward or out of touch. Because these fields are managed by satellite, with GPS technology and automated monitoring a daily part of the farmer's routine life. It's technology that has enabled these family farms to grow from a few hundred acres to a few thousand acres.
Technology, whether it's from an equipment standpoint, whether it's technology in our seeds, whether it's technology in some of the products that we apply to our crop and to our soil, it has allowed us to cover more acres in less time and do a better job from an efficiency standpoint, from an environmental standpoint. Technology is critical. It's critical to what we're doing in agriculture today.
These farmers can plant more than 200 acres in a 12 to 14-hour day, spreading 150,000 seeds per acre. With degrees in agronomy, plus years of experience, they have it down to a science. In fact, they have years of data and satellite information that allow them to go back and find the yield from a specific spot to see how much fertilization is needed and what the crop requires in order to thrive.
We started out with the satellite technology in the combine about 15 years ago, mapping the yields, the moisture content, and the varieties and so forth. So we have many, many years of data. Currently, we are using the satellite to actually steer the tractor through the field.
A lot of our equipment has GPS capabilities, so we don't go over land more than once. We have auto steer. We have the ability for the satellites to shut off our sprayers when we need to and shut off our planters when we need to, so we don't overlap.
Technology is a scary subject for some, especially when they hear the words genetic modification. But for these farmers, GMO means better, healthier crops.
The GMO, I suppose, that everyone always refers to, and people are most familiar with, is Roundup Ready. And that's a technology that allows us to use the product glyphosate to control weeds, and it's selective, so it doesn't affect the growing crop, whether it's soybeans or whether it's corn, and it's completely changed the way we plant. It's allowed us to do, we talked about earlier, the no-till and the minimum till, because we don't have to kill those weeds with tillage. And that was always the issue before. There was no way to kill those weeds to start the process of growing a crop without going in with some sort of heavy tillage operation, killing those weeds, and then planting your crop, and then using multiple chemistries and multiple passes over the field, to keep those weeds down until you got to harvest.
Now, the farmer's life is run by weather maps and GPS, and communication is handled using cell phones and the internet. Dr. Brian Young calls it Buck Rogers-type technology.
Your tractor knows where it is going through the field. And then you can take soil samples, soil test results, know the nutrient value and other factors in that soil at a specific GPS coordinate, accuracy within 2 centimeters. And so if we know what's happening at that soil level, at that spot, we know what we did for management, we know the soil test levels, we know crop productivity, and then we can see the diversity of that across the entire field. Well, where were we losing yield? Where were some of our inputs kind of a waste of money because it didn't enhance yield any? And where do we make the biggest gains? So if we just focus on areas where we can improve things with the least amount of investment, that's being more sustainable.
In other words, when sustainability and conservation is the goal, nothing is left to chance.
We are so precise in what we do. We only put down a herbicide or insecticide or a fungicide when we need it.
Technology has definitely changed farming. It's made it a lot easier for us. We're more rested at night with the auto steer. But you know, the biggest effect is when you map everything like we do and do the soil gridding, and we can get our nitrogen and our fertilizer levels to the yield that we want to have. It's been a great benefit in that direction.
And perhaps because everything is so high-tech, the farmers look for balance and value the opportunities they have for preserving the land that go far beyond what their parents and grandparents had available to them. Jason Bean tells the story of how, when his grandfather cleared a field, he always left a tree for shade. In this field, that's the tree from which bald eagles now take flight. It's that kind of memory that feeds these farmers and reminds them of the benefits that come from good farming practices. It's that kind of balance with the help of technology that is leading to healthier crops and the ability to meet the demand for food.
It's always been great if you go out to a field and find as many beans in that pot as possible. So our 4-bean pod would be great to see. You know, the average that we would expect to see is 2.5. Of course, you never get a half a seed, but it ranges from 2 to 3. So seeing a 4-bean pod would be great because that would be an indicator that you had a good growing environment and you have high yielding genetics, and hopefully you're going to get high output per acre.
That's the secret of the 4-bean pod. It's the sign of a good growing environment. It's a sign that the people, the land, and the technology are all working together. It's just one of the signs of a healthy crop brought about by good farming practices. That's why we search for the 4-bean pod, and we found it. Yes, we found it in our tour of farms across Missouri, South Dakota, and Iowa. It's these farms all across America where the combination of good soil, ethical and innovative farming practices, and science is moving health and nutrition forward. It's a tribute to the technology that starts with land preparation and seed production and goes all the way through GPS-enabled planting, conservation tillage, to harvest, and ultimately to the table. In our next episode, it's time to eat. Return with us to see just how versatile the soybean is when it comes to food. So, get out your mixing bowls because you'll want to try the recipes and ideas coming up in our final segment of the series of In Search of the 4-Bean Pod.